In the last 5 years, the tradition has fallen short. Their honor only a memory. But times may be changing with a new generation of Cowboys, and the city of Dallas has awakened to their arrival. The star over Dallas may be regaining some of its old luster as the Cowboys meet arch rival Philadelphia after this word from your local stations.
This is
Sellout crowd at Texas Stadium, over 60,000 to see the 1-1 Eagles take on the 1-1 Dallas Cowboys. Look at the humidity, it's 76% here in Big D. And good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton along with Merlin Olsen, and the number to remember is 7. The Eagles have won 7 straight games over the Dallas Cowboys, but despite a loss on Monday to Washington, the Cowboys are getting tremendous respect around the league. And Merlin, a great rejuvenation here in Dallas, and it's come with amazing swiftness.
Well, this Cowboy offense earned a lot of credibility with that performance. 31 points against Washington on Monday night. Jimmy Johnson said they still have something to prove to Philadelphia. He said we're kind of like that skinny kid on the beach who took the Charles Atlas course, and now we're saying, come on, kick some sand in our faces. But if they want to be that tough team that they would like to be, they've got to play better defense than they played on Monday night.
I remember that sand. As far as the Philadelphia Eagles are concerned, they're going to get the ball first. The Eagles have won the toss. Ken Willis kicking off, and it's down in the end zone by Thomas Sanders. Jim McMahon, the quarterback for the Eagles, and coming off a rough affair against Phoenix. The offensive front for Philadelphia. Ron Heller replaces Cecil Gray at left tackle. Collie, Alexander, Solt, rookie Anton Davis, Keith Jackson, the tight end. In the backfield for the Eagles, Keith Byers and Thomas Sanders are the backs, and Calvin Williams and Fred Barnett, the wide receivers. First and 10 on the 20-yard line. It's Sanders with the first carry, and Tony Casillas brings him down after a gain of 2 yards. The Dallas defense, they were the troublesome part of the Cowboys on Monday night. Tony Tolbert, Casillas, Danny Noonan, and Jim Jeffcoat up front. The linebackers are Ken Norton, Jack Del Rio, and Vincent Smith. And the secondary, and the Eagles could be working on the cornerbacks. Isaac Holt, Manny Hendricks in particular, Ray Horton, and James Washington are the safeties. Second down and 8. Calvin Williams comes in motion. And this time it's Byers with the carry. He brings it out to the 25-yard line. Maybe a yard beyond. Ken Norton making the stop.
A lot of pressure on Rich Kotite. Randall Cunningham is not coming back in 91, and he's had to really scramble to put this offense on track. Right now, his first priority is establish a running game. He knows if he can do that, he can take some of the heat off McMahon.
It'll be 3rd down and 4, and that's one of the things the Eagles have not really established in recent years. In fact, their top rusher has been the quarterback, Randall Cunningham. This time McMahon working out of the shotgun. No penalty marker down, and the pass to Barnett is complete, but they don't get to the sticks. And good aggressive defense by the Dallas Cowboys downfield, making the stop. Robert Williams making the tackle, and that will bring up 4th down. The Cowboys will have a new punt returner after Kelvin Martin muffed and bobbled a kick against the Redskins, which really changed momentum to a great extent. And downfield is Derek Shepard for the Dallas Cowboys, who was cut on the last roster cut the last 2 years. Jeff Fiegels, who's been kicking well, booting for the Eagles and gets off another beauty. He'll send Shepard way back, and the kick will go out of bounds at about the 20-yard line.
Great kick to angle it out of bounds. Absolutely no return, and getting the most out of that punt.
A 50-yard kick by Fiegels, and so Troy Aikman brings out the Dallas Cowboys. Up front, Mark Tuanay, Kevin Gogan, Mark Stepnoski, John Kiesick, Nate Newton, the offensive line, and Jay Novacek. An outstanding pass receiving tight end. Emmitt Smith coming off a brilliant game against the Redskins, and Darrell Johnston, the running backs. Michael Irvin and Alexander Wright, the wide receivers. Aikman, 5 touchdown passes, no interceptions coming into this game. Going to the air on first down and tries to flip it to Emmitt Smith. And it is incomplete. Reggie White storming in on the play.
Who else? The Minister of Defense.
Speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles defense, Reggie White, one of perhaps the best quartet of defensive linemen in the NFC at least. Second down and 10. We'll review the Eagles defensive alignment after this play as Emmitt Smith gets the handoff, penalty marker down, and Smith is tackled at about the 25-yard line. So up front, as holding is the call against the Dallas Cowboys. Reggie White, Mike Golick, Mike Pitts, and Clyde Simmons up front. The linebackers, Seth Joyner, Byron Evans, and Jesse Small. Philadelphia secondary. Cornerbacks Ben Smith and Eric Allen, Wes Hopkins and Andre Waters are the safeties.
Dallas offense has to do what they did last week against the Redskins. They came out and they attacked right from the opening bell. A great mix of passing, some outstanding running by Emmitt Smith. They kept the Redskins off balance, put the ball in the end zone. They're not off to the same kind of start here today. They've got to make a recovery on this 2nd and 20.
And the ball is on the 10-yard line. 3 wide receivers lined up for the Cowboys, and the quick toss is incomplete. It was intended for Alexander Wright.
Inconsistent hands. The thing that impresses me about what the Cowboys have done in the last 2 weeks, they've taken 7 opening drives, 7 possessions in the first half of those 2 games and driven them in for scores. Aikman has been brilliant in these first 2 games, although he did part of his work in that game against the Cleveland Browns with his chin split open and even bled last week.
Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator, doesn't think that Aikman can play any better than he did Monday against the Redskins.
Redskins say the same thing.
3rd down and 20. Kelvin Martin is in as the 3rd wide receiver. Novacek, the tight end, in motion. And they go to the handoff this time. And it's Darrell Johnston, the fullback. There was question as to whether Johnston would even play today because he has a bursa sac problem in his knee that was ruptured. But it'll be 4th down, and Jimmy Johnson, who talked about a conservative offense for the Cowboys today, will have to kick.
Well, he knows that he's facing one of the toughest defenses in the NFL. He doesn't want to give them a turnover deep in Dallas territory early in the game.
Mike Saxon will be kicking from just inside his end zone, and Rod Harris, former Dallas Cowboy, back to receive. Eagles could get good field position.
Line drive.
At the 42, Harris gets by one group of tacklers and finds his way into Dallas territory. An 11-yard return for Rod Harris. So the Eagles get good field position as Godfrey Miles makes the tackle.
Quarterbacks, Randall can scramble a lot better than Jim, but when a guy lines up in front of you, you're not thinking of what the quarterback's doing. You're just worried about what he's doing. So in comparison, you know, it really doesn't matter what they're doing back there. I just have to worry about the man in front of me.
And Ron Heller, who was beaten out by Cecil Gray, who underwent arthroscopic surgery on his left knee. So Heller now is in at left tackle today. It'll be 1st down for the Eagles in good field position on the Cowboy 47. Keith Byers on a quick opener, and Byers gets inside the 40-yard line. Jim Jeffcoat got a hand on Byers and a pickup of 9 yards.
Exactly the kind of play that these Eagles need in this situation. As you look in from behind, watch the right side. It's the left side of the line, but look how they clear out right there. Jeffcoat had to go all the way around the block and come in from behind. Byers already downfield, and Byers will give you fits. Runs the ball effectively, a solid blocker, a great pass receiver. You can play him at any of 4 or 5 different positions. And Philadelphia needs his leadership on the field, especially with Cunningham out of there.
And Heath Sherman, who is the top rushing running back last year for the Eagles, number 23, has come in. And a play fake, McMahon, they freeze the defense. Here's the pass downfield, double coverage, and it's knocked away. It was intended for Calvin Williams, and Isaac Holt was downfield along with James Washington, and they have covered the deep man well.
2 things of note on that play. The Eagles, hoping to get receivers available early, did not have them. McMahon held the ball, and watch what happens when he holds it too long. Tobler, 92, Casillas, 75, both there to knock him flat on his back. And at the end of that play, excellent double teaming and coverage by the Cowboys. Holt, who's been burned badly in the past couple of weeks, said, I can't change my style, but you better believe people are going to pick on him until he proves he can stop those deep ones.
The Eagles have called a timeout here with 10 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in the first quarter. They have a 3rd down and 1, and with good field position, not a bad time really to set something up to keep an early drive going. And we will take a break as well here in Texas. No score. Stockton and Merlin Olsen here at Texas Stadium, and as we show you the capacity crowd here at this Cowboy home game. They were sold out, of course, Monday night against the Redskins. We'll bring you up to date on other scores. 3rd down and 1 on the 38 of the Cowboys. Here's Sanders, breaks a tackle and gets the first down. They had hit him, and he might have been stopped, but he spun away and got to the 35-yard line. Ray Horton making the tackle, and a 3-yard gain and a first down for the Eagles.
Sanders, a 29-year-old running back, not a huge one, probably under 200 pounds at this point, breaking the tackle. That's one thing that Dallas secondary has had some problems with, is tackling. And the Eagles hoping they can do a lot of that here today, not only with their running backs, but also with their receivers on short passes.
1st and 10 on the 35-yard line of the Cowboys. Power formation, and Sanders gets stopped by Tolbert, who gets him from behind. No gain on the play. Danny Noonan involved as well on the play. The Dallas Cowboys were able to stop the Redskins with their inside rushes, but when Washington went wide, surprisingly enough against the speedy Dallas defense, the Redskins and Binder did well.
The Eagles, wanting to exploit those same weaknesses, will try and go off tackle and wide and lock this defense in. But of course, the Dallas Cowboys are smart enough to have spent a whole week practicing against those plays. And right there, an off tackle play to the right side, shut down very nicely by Tolbert.
2nd down and 10. McMahon trying to go to Byers out of the backfield, and Byers was watched closely by Vincent Smith, the linebacker.
We had a good chat with Keith Byers yesterday, and told us very specifically, he said, with Cunningham gone, he said, we all have to step up. He said, I feel that I have to take more leadership, not just in performance, but also vocally. I've got to be more willing to say things in the huddle. Hey, let's pick it up. Or if somebody's not doing the job, I've got to be able to help Jim in that huddle. Well, Byers certainly already has made a couple of fine plays in this game, but you can't do much as a pass receiver if the ball's that far off the mark.
3rd down and 10. Mickey Schuler is in as a 2nd tight end for the Eagles, and they'll put both Keith Jackson and Byers wide to the right, along with Calvin Williams. McMahon in trouble, directing traffic, and McMahon is going to get a first down as he slides inside the 25-yard line. The Cowboys had to fence that unusual formation well in a gain of 12 yards.
Well, are you sure that Randall's not in this game? McMahon does not have Randall's speed nor his elusiveness, but look at this. Breaks away from the rush, away from Jimmy Johnson and Jimmy Jones, and inside here, and slides and makes a nice gain out of it. Hey, Kotite is saying, okay, Jimmy, okay, now slide, Jimmy, please. Don't take a hit.
Well, that's why the Eagles do not deactivate one of their quarterbacks. They have to keep 3, because if McMahon goes down and they have a problem with the other quarterback, they're going to be left with only 1. They don't have that luxury. 1st down and 10 with just under 8 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Here comes a blitz and the pitch to Byers. And the Eagles thought they might have something against the on-rushing Dallas defense, but Byers is bottled up nicely by Jim Jeffcoat and Ken Norton.
Kenny Norton, one of the quickest of linebackers. Watch him right here, number 51, as he drives right up inside, times it perfectly, and is on McMahon before he can even move. And then quick enough to get outside and get a piece of the tackle. That's about as quick as you will see a linebacker flow. Norton, known for big plays like that, unfortunately sometimes has mental lapses on the field and will make a big mistake as well.
Second down and 10 for the Eagles on the Dallas 25. This time Sanders slips. He wouldn't have gone anywhere anyway, because right in his face was Tony Tolbert, the former linebacker, who has bulked up some 30 pounds and has become a very promising defensive end in Jimmy Johnson's scheme of things. That'll bring up fourth down.
Dick, this Cowboy defense, their first priority in this season was to play much better and much stronger against the running game. Tolbert's size helps that, but Casillas, Tony Casillas, has really been the key to that so far this season.
Casillas acquired from the Atlanta Falcons for an 8th-round draft pick. Third down and 12. Again, Jackson, Byers, and Calvin Williams, who now goes in motion wide to the right. And the swing pass is out to Sanders. He's got open field and a first down as he's upended inside the 15-yard line by Ray Horton, the free safety. A pickup of 12 yards. They went away from the strong side in a big game.
You can take advantage of a quick rush by throwing the screen. Watch Thomas Sanders slide out. The defensive line is allowed to penetrate, and there's no one rolling up to help on Sanders. He's got all kinds of room. A bad mistake there as Horton finally catches up with Sanders. But boy, that's not good defense by the Dallas Cowboys, and an excellent call by Rich Kotite.
Cowboys on their heels as the Eagles have a first down. Here's Sanders going off the left side again, and he is stopped at the 11-yard line.
That's the perimeter type play we expected to see the Eagles run, and they're able to make a fairly nice gain out of it. Dallas tends to keep their linebackers stacked inside. What the Washington Redskins were able to do is bring a wide receiver down, bring a tight end down, and attack with a second tight end moving across the field, a motion back, the H-back, and seal that whole defense inside. And then you got some one-on-ones out there with a running back, and they made some big gains. The Eagles hoping to use some of those same plays here today.
Second down and 8 on the 11-yard line. Rookie James Joseph, number 32, checks into the game. McMahon is going for Barnett. He's got it. Touchdown, Eagles. As Barnett beat Isaac Holt for an 11-yard touchdown strike, and Philadelphia leads it 6-0.
Holt has got to feel shell-shocked. The third time he's given up touchdowns in one-on-one coverage in the last 3 games. He was also involved in a touchdown on the goal line last week. He's worked like a dog all week to try and make sure that something like that didn't happen. Boy, that has to be a real blow to his confidence. And a great play by Barnett, who continues to show those big plays for the Eagles.
Roger Ruzek with the conversion. Jeff Eagles will hold with 4:41 remaining in the first quarter. The kick is good. So the second touchdown reception of the season by Fred Barnett.
This pass has to be perfectly thrown because Holt is not that far behind. But look how nicely it's done. Fred Barnett driving down the field. A moment of truth right here. A little inside fake and goes to the outside. And Isaac Holt waits a second too long before he breaks on the ball. Asking himself questions, a little uncertainty perhaps. But watch the results here. Freezes just long enough for Barnett to break clear.
7-0 the Eagles lead. Roger Ruzek will kick off for the Eagles. James Dixon and Derek Shepard are back deep. It'll be into the hands of Dixon on the 2. And stopped at the 25-yard line, and the tackle made by Isel Jenkins.
They're on the sideline, and boy, what a horrible feeling. You're all alone. You're naked out there as a cornerback, and 3 weeks in a row, that has been a costly proposition. This is a gambler. Isaac Holt has gambled his whole career, and he'll come up with those interceptions. But boy, it has been costly the past 3 weeks as he has been beaten for 3 touchdowns man on man.
Of course, Holt was one of the players that was acquired from the Minnesota Vikings in that Herschel Walker deal. Of course, the big booty for Dallas was their draft picks. 1st and 10 for the Cowboys on their 25-yard line. Emmitt Smith gets nowhere. Eagles very strong up the middle defensively, and the tackle that time by Mike Pitts.
Mr. Barnett, how you doing? You're
The Eagles able to put up 7 points early. You see the smiles and the confidence on that sideline. The best thing that could have happened to this Eagle team is to be able to get off to a good start against the Cowboys. They're feeling good about themselves now. Now if that defense can stand up and shut down Dallas's offense, they'll have established momentum on both sides of the ball here early.
Jerome Brown, the tough run stopper, has come in and tackled for the Eagles on 2nd down and 9. Aikman under pressure, and down he goes. He's tough, but when you go against the Eagles front 4, you better be, as Jerome Brown and then Clyde Simmons come in to make the tackle at a loss of 2, as Aikman is sacked for only the 5th time this year.
3rd sack of the season for Jerome, a holdout. He is not as much a part of this defense as he will be later on, as he really is trying to learn some of the new defensive calls and terminology, but a very physical player. That's the kind you smile about, though. He was on the line and the quarterback came to him. I like those kind of sacks when I was playing defensive tackle.
Bet you like any kind of sacks when you play.
You bet.
3rd down and 11. Aikman getting pressure again from behind. Simmons gets him, and a big loss that time as Clyde Simmons picks up a sack and a loss of 8 yards. And Merlin, you talk about the Eagle defense. Well, their defense on that previous possession gave the offense great field position for their touchdown, and now they could get the ball again in good field position.
This is a great matchup between Clyde Simmons with those long arms and Mark Tuanay, who's done a great job on the left tackle position. But watch how Simmons able to drive clear from behind, just keeps going, keeps his feet moving, and Aikman couldn't see him from the backside. Taken down.
Mike Saxon gets it off. Ron Harris goes way back. Great kick by Saxon.
Boy, that is a huge kick.
And Harris has just 2 men to beat, including the kicker. And coming in from behind to make the tackle is Vincent Smith, saving a touchdown after a 36-yard punt return by Ron Harris. And how do you think Saxon feels after a 63-yard punt?
Sometimes a kick like that, you simply out-kick your coverage. Saxon boots it long, and oh, how sweet this is for someone who is cut by the Cowboys. Harris streaking for a great game.
And Robert Drummond delivered a crunching block to let Harris get a lot of yards.
Of the National Football League.
Dave Wanstead, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. A lot of people joked about his college experience, a college coach. They don't joke anymore. Dallas needs some beef, but they've improved defensively. 1st down on the 46-yard line to the Cowboys. McMahon's pass. And did he have possession? He did. And a great catch downfield by Fred Barnett. A 23-yard gain, and Mandy Hendricks was all over him, but he grabbed it anyway.
McMahon can still throw the football. He'll be knocked down at the end of this play, but McMahon has never lacked courage. He'll stand in there, and that ball thrown where it had to be thrown, away from the defensive back. Manny Hendricks not far away, but he had to go through the receiver to get at the ball. Dave Wanstead has to be feeling the pressure here. His defense was beaten badly on a number of occasions last week, and they were challenged coming into this game because they knew that they had to get the strike on this man, McMahon. So far, it's McMahon who's after them.
Thomas Sanders on 1st down. Ridden out of bounds after a gain of about 4 or 5. Ray Horton defending, and a gain of 4 that time, as you see the clock with 1:38 remaining in the 1st quarter.
Excellent mix of run and pass here early by Philadelphia, and they have kept the Dallas Cowboy defense off balance. They've run effectively enough to force the Cowboys to respect their running game. And because of that, Rich Kotite has had the freedom to use that whole list of plays he has in front of it.
Second down and 6 on the Cowboy 19. And the pitch to Sanders, and a great tackle. Vincent Smith, and we've already mentioned his name 3 times. There's a penalty marker down as well.
Very late penalty flag down.
Sanders amended by number 7, Vincent Smith, short of the line of scrimmage. There is a flag on the play.
It's a clipping call against the Eagles. And boy, they have been blessed with great field position. They've just cost themselves an excellent shot at a touchdown here.
Personal foul, illegal crackback, number 86 of the offense, 15 yards. Repeat, second down.
That's Fred Barnett, 15 yards. You're right, Merlin. Really knocks him out of field goal range as well to this point with a minute to go.
Well, it is only second down. They'll repeat the down. But one of the things that Zeke Burkowski told us, the quarterback coach of these Philadelphia Eagles, is that these wide receivers block better than any he has seen anywhere in the NFL. Well, Barnett, unfortunately, bringing it in. Top of the screen. Watch Barnett coming in right there. He's the man moving to the inside. And he goes in below the knees. That's a no-no.
Second down and 21. McMahon finds Keith Jackson, who has his first reception of the game, holds on to the ball as he's barreled his way to the 25. He gets 9 of those yards back. Jack Del Rio and Ken Norton making the tackle. For the Eagles, Thomas Sanders has limped off the field prior to this last play and was replaced by Heath Sherman. And of course, Sanders had been the workhorse last week.
We mentioned Sanders at 29 years old, not as young as he once was. And one of the things that happens as you age in the NFL, you become more prone to injuries.
And that is the end of the first quarter here at Texas Stadium with the score. The Philadelphia Eagles 7 and the Dallas Cowboys nothing.
Try a pair and get comfortable. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars. And by Miller Lite, it's it, and that's that.
We start the second quarter here in Dallas, and it was a rough week for Jimmy Johnson. Everyone's talking about the great respect teams have for the Cowboys, but he looks at it as a loss, and right now he can't be pleased at the fact that the Eagles have dominated field position so far.
Well, and they're ahead on the scoreboard, and the great concern, if you're going to get to the championships, you're going to get to the Super Bowl, you've got to win in your division. And Johnson has had trouble doing that.
Thomas Sanders has a twisted ankle, and the Eagles expect that he'll be back. Third down and 12 on the Cowboy 25. 7-0. The Eagles lead the Cowboys. And a bootleg. McMahon going wide open in the end zone, and Calvin Williams had beaten his man, Kenneth Gant. But the pass just eluded him, and an incompletion brings up fourth down.
Another one of those second-year receivers. The Eagles put the waggle in, this little rollout, to help McMahon get a little extra time to throw the football. Watch him as he just rolls around. They keep everybody down. He's got plenty of time to throw that football, and had it just off the fingertips, you see his frustration. He knows that that was a great opportunity for a touchdown.
Roger Ruzek will attempt a 42-yard field goal. He's already kicked one from 47 yards, and the kick is long enough, and it is good. So the Eagles, who have had 2 drives started in Dallas territory, have scored twice. And on this second play of the second quarter, it's Philadelphia 10 and Dallas nothing.
Big men in particular, on a day like today, conditioning will be very important late in the third and fourth quarters.
Roger Ruzek will kick off again. Eagles 2 possessions at the Dallas 47 and then at the Cowboy 46. And they got points both times. There's James Dixon, who's back deep along with Derek Shepard. And a moving kick into the end zone. And it will be down for the touchback. So the Cowboys will begin from the 20-yard line, and they've played this game virtually in half of the field. As you see, 6 yards, minus 6 yards for the Cowboys. Emmitt Smith, who has gone over 100 in 2 straight games, has gained only 1 yard. He's only carried 1.
He has been a non-factor, and that is bad news for the Cowboys. He has been dominant in the first half of both of the games. In fact, all of the Cleveland game, but he has not done anything here. Was sick last week, took some medication that were supposed to help him maintain the moisture in his body. Said nothing but water for me today. Well, maybe the water's not getting it today.
1st and 10 at the 20-yard line, and Emmitt Smith will be getting the football as he moves the pile a couple of yards out to the 24. He had dehydration in the game against the Redskins, and Jimmy Johnson saying before the game that it was a lot more serious than people thought. After a 75-yard touchdown run, he was no good the rest of the way.
Interesting comment from Ortho Davis, the trainer of the Eagles, who said that if they anticipate a very hot game, they'll actually take some of their players that they know to have problems with the heat and hydrate them. They'll take them to the hospital and give them an IV to increase their fluid levels the night before.
2nd down and 7, 3 wide receivers, and Aikman goes down inside the 20. Jerome Brown picks up the sack and a loss of 5 yards, so Brown gets a sack and a half already.
Troy Aikman has seen these green jerseys before. Last year, watch the shot from Clyde Simmons right here. It ended Aikman's season and ended Cowboys' playoff hopes.
Already the Eagles have 3 sacks. Simmons 1, and Jerome Brown has been credited with 2.
We spent the day talking about protection for the Eagle quarterbacks. Here it is, Aikman needing the protection.
3rd down and 12. 3 wide receivers. Aikman going up on top. The receiver wasn't looking, and the pass is intercepted. Alexander Wright did not see the ball in the air, and Rich Miano, the former New York Jet, picks it off at the 40-yard line of Philadelphia. And good pressure by Mike Pitts inside for the Eagles, and that's the first interception of the season.
When Bud Carson arrived at the Eagle camp, he said, hey, there are a couple of people we'd like to have. Miano was one of them. They picked him up. But it's the pressure really that eats Aikman up here. Pitts right on top of him. Reggie coming from the outside. He had to throw the football, and he did not throw it well.
Rich Miano's first pickoff of the year. 5 interceptions by the Eagles. So they get the ball back. Once again in good field position. They're on their own 39. Keith Sherman and Keith Byers are the running backs. The call goes to Byers, and he'll lose yardage. And the offensive line could not stop Jack Del Rio and Vincent Smith, 2 of the linebackers.
That's the first time Aikman has been intercepted in 82 attempts. Of course, that was a problem for him early in his career. In fact, in the first 2 years of his career, Aikman had thrown 20 touchdowns and 36 interceptions. He'd really turned that around this year. 5 TDs and no interceptions. Well, scratch that 0 off the books.
Well, you knew he wasn't going to go forever with that one. He was the last NFC quarterback to throw one. Russell Merlin is now in up front, defensive tackle, replacing Casillas on 2nd and 10.
And he's working on a new right guard in there. 62, Dennis McKnight has gone in for Ron Salt, who'd injured an ankle, so a couple of fresh faces in there on the line of scrimmage.
Ball start called against the Eagles. Jerry Austin is our referee.
You see that mask that Jim McMahon is wearing? I think McMahon likes the look of it, but the other thing it does, a lot of defensive backs read the eyes of the quarterback. You can't see through that mask.
2nd down and 15. Maybe they can just ask him to take the mask off. It's becoming a popular piece of equipment around the league.
You ask him.
McMahon has time, and his pass is caught by Barnett, and he may have a 1st down. It'll be awfully close in midfield. Jack Del Rio making the tackle on Calvin Williams.
Rookies in the NFL have trouble learning how to pass protect. Anton Davis right here working one-on-one. Watch him as he demonstrates some good pass rushing technique here. able to get his hands into the defender, giving a little ground, but giving McMahon plenty of time. Said the toughest thing for him was they changed his stance. They said in college you can pass block from a running stance. Here you've got to learn to run block from a passing stance.
Casillas has replaced Noonan, so Merlin and Casillas are the two tackles on defense up front for the Cowboys. It is a first down for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Say that's like putting a large building out on the right side of that offensive line. Anton Davis at 6'4", 325 pounds, and they must have had an incredible team at Tennessee. Alvin Harris, the #1 choice of the Dallas Cowboys, Alvin Harper, excuse me, also off that team.
As the replay reviewed the spot, as it was close to a first down. The spot's a good spot on the field. First down, Philadelphia.
You don't see that too often. Quickly to finish that thought, Charles McRae and Anthony Morgan, a couple of other outstanding players in the NFL, also off that team.
Thomas Sanders is getting on the cart. That's not good news. He has the twisted knee.
Rich Zald already in the locker room being x-rayed, so a couple of Eagles hurt already in this ball game.
1st and 10. Here's Heath Sherman. Byers trying to block in front, and he is knocked back into Heath Sherman. And he'll lose a yard, and there's a penalty marker down after the whistle.
Daniel Stubbs, great penetration, able to get in there and knock things down. And the Eagles are going to be called for holding to add insult to injury on that last play.
Holding, number 88 of the offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Tight end Keith Jackson holding. So the Eagles got to midfield, and now they're going to have to bring the ball back to the 40-yard line.
This is really a game of field position so far for the Eagles. They have had the short field because of Dallas's ineffective play on offense and because of the Eagles' aggressive play on defense. McMahon and company have faced the short field every time they've touched the football, and it's paid big dividends for them.
You had a look at Russell Merlin, the #1 draft pick from Miami. First down and 20. Fred Barnett makes the catch, and Vincent Smith, who was a Plan B pickup from the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, making a terrific play, not letting Barnett get away, but a pickup nonetheless of 8 yards.
Well, you said that the audience had a look at Russell Merlin. Now Jim McMahon has had a close look at him as Merlin was in there to mow McMahon down, and McMahon on the ground again. We mentioned he was knocked down 11 times last week. Watch number 67, Merlin, making a fine move inside on Bruce Colley, and that's the 4th knockdown on McMahon. He can't continue to survive 11 of those in a game. I don't think any quarterback can.
2nd down and 12. Just shy of midfield for the Eagles, and we'll have penalty markers here as McMahon may have a free play, and the pass to Calvin Barnett is knocked away by Isaac Holt. That was Calvin Williams. Holt defending downfield, but there were penalties thrown.
Jim McMahon loves the hard count. He knows how to draw those defenders offside.
Offside, right side of the defense, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
You'd ask yourself, how can they jump offside? They can see the ball. Well, that quarterback barks that count, and he gets it out of sequence. Boy, he did a great job. Got all 3 of those down linemen to move at the same time. McMahon sharp on that one. Cowboys defense, not so sharp. Whoops.
Ball at the Dallas 27.
McMahon has been known to be so sharp with that count, he even draws his own people offsides on occasion. That's not so good.
4 wide receivers. They bring the tight end Jackson out as well on 2nd down and 7. Kenny Jackson and Keith Jackson are both receivers out of the shotgun. The quick throw and over the head of Barnett. Thrown away. Manny Hendricks was covering Barnett on that play, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Manny Hendricks, number 45, defending for Dallas.
Ooh. Philadelphia able to own the football here in the first half. Speaking to 2 distinct realities here, the fact that the Eagles have been effective offensively and effective defensively. So far the Cowboys have done neither.
Defense is where the emphasis is with 3 quarterback sacks. 3rd down and 7 with 9:40 remaining in the first half. McMahon finds Kenny Jackson, and he'll have the first down on a crossing pattern. The veteran Bill Bates there to make the tackle, and a gain of 9 yards and another Eagles first down.
Randall Cunningham would wait and wait and wait and look for Keith Byers and Keith Jackson. You talk to the receivers on this team, they say McMahon does a better job of spreading the ball, looking for the good matchup, or the mismatch in this case. That's exactly what he found. Bill Bates on Kenny Jackson, and he got Jackson the ball. Bates just could not keep up with him.
10 different receivers have already caught passes for the Eagles in less than 3 games. McMahon is 8 for 12 and 91 yards, and a first down for the Eagles. Plenty of time for McMahon, and throwing high again, intended for Barnett, and Calvin Williams was covered downfield by James Washington. Now, 2 receivers were in the same neighborhood downfield at about the 20.
Well, they're not supposed to be that close together, but I don't think they broke the pattern. But that ball touched in the air by Manny Hendricks and deflected slightly where it would have been intercepted by Washington. Washington couldn't handle it. Outside receiver sliding in underneath the slot as you watch this. Manny Hendricks will be the defender closest to you on the left side of the screen. Watch them here as they drive outside. He's able to touch that football as he goes inside, but Washington almost had the interception.
2nd down and 10. McMahon, penalty marker thrown. And McMahon scampers to the 31-yard line, but a flag is down. Norton and Del Rio making the stop, and holding may be the call after a gain of 7 yards. Kenny
Norton down briefly, although he is back up.
Number 78 of the offense, 10 yards.
There's the rookie.
Still 2nd down.
Antone Davis getting flagged for the holding call. We spent a lot of time talking about Randall Cunningham and the injury, and of course McMahon doing an excellent job of replacing him. But think for a second what would happen if McMahon went down. The choices then would be Brad Gable, a free agent rookie quarterback, or Pat Ryan, a free agent who's been in camp less than a week and who didn't even play last year, a former New York Jet. So you can see why they're so concerned about keeping McMahon healthy.
And 3 quarterbacks on the active roster today. 2nd down and 20. The Eagles pushed back to midfield, and we'll have another penalty marker. It should be on the defense as Mickey Schuler, the 2nd tight end, gets free, and a first down. Oh, it's inside the 35, shy of a first down by about 5 yards. A pickup of 14. Hendricks and Ray Horton on the stop.
It looked to me like one of the Eagles moved on that play, but I think they're going to call it against Dallas.
3rd down.
Pass is declined. They'll take the 14 yards, and it'll be 3rd down and 5 now for the Eagles, and they're in field goal range again, although it'll be a long try by Ruzek.
Jimmy showing some patience on the sideline, but that's not going to last long if this performance by his Cowboys does not improve.
Well, the time of possession we showed you earlier was significant. It's even greater now. 3rd down and 6. And a Statue of Liberty play is spoiled as Heath Sherman gets bottled up at the 30-yard line. Not a bad play when you've got the field goal try coming up. They'll lose a yard on it, and it'll be 4th down, and Russell Merlin gets credit for the tackle.
McMahon really angry about something. I don't know whether he didn't like to call it. There is Thomas Sanders. You see the left ankle heavily bandaged and iced, and he is heading out of the stadium here. Been in to get x-rays on that ankle. That is not good news for the Eagles.
The Eagles have used their 2nd timeout as Roger Ruzek gets set to try a long one, a 52-yard field goal. So Philadelphia now with only 1 timeout left in the first half. Lead the Cowboys 10-0, and the Dallas defense has been on the field a lot of this humid weather.
They certainly have, and they have not been able to stop the Eagles, but the Eagles have been blessed with great field position. And when you have great field position, you can afford to be more aggressive. You can afford to attack. The Cowboys, on the other hand, play a team defensive strategy, and they're going to wear you down, try to make you make mistakes. The Eagles haven't made many of those here in the first half.
The Eagles, after calling the timeout, decide to punt instead of trying the long field goal, and this kick is out of bounds inside the 5. So it was a good bit of strategy by Rich Kotite to change his mind, and you see they'll mark it inside the 2. Another outstanding kick by Jeff Fiegel. Well, next Sunday at 12:30 Eastern, a doubleheader on the NFL. Washington and Cincinnati. Some of you will see Minnesota at New Orleans. And in game 2, the Rams and the 49ers. You've been part of so many of those, Mark.
Well, I've been there a few times. 49ers with problems in their defensive secondary to go along with problems with Joe Montana.
And it all begins with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern, the last word before kickoff. Starting from inside the 2-yard line, Aikman in trouble. I don't know how he escaped that rush, and his pass is thrown away smartly. He was going for Alexander Wright downfield, and Wright was covered by Ben Smith.
Why do people talk about Reggie White? Watch him right here as he drives upfield on this play. Number 92 just blows right over the top of a 325-pounder and sets him right back into Aikman. We talk about negative field position. It can't be better exemplified than where Dallas starts this drive with their feet in their own end zone.
You talk about being aggressive. The Eagles can be tremendously aggressive here.
Well, look at the scoreboard. That doesn't hurt either.
Aikman's pass to Johnston, and he's hit immediately. Believe it or not, that is Troy Aikman's first completion of the game. Ben Smith was all over the Dallas fullback at the 6-yard line. That will bring up 3rd down and 4. You know, Jay Novacek, who's the leading receiver of all tight ends in the NFL, has been a disappearing man so far.
Well, we talked to Seth Joyner, plays that outside linebacking position, and is one of the most versatile linebackers in the NFL. He said, I hope they give me a chance to lock up with Novacek. He said, we've got to take him out of the game plan. They've done it today.
On 3rd and 4, Aikman trying to go and completing his pass to Kelvin Martin. And a first down, just shy of the 35-yard line. Isel Jenkins covering.
The Dallas crowd, capacity crowd without a whole lot to cheer about. Suddenly with a bright Dallas moment as Kmart pulls one in. Boy, what a beautiful toss by Aikman. Had to throw right over the outstretched hands of the defender. Martin doing a good job of bringing it in. Got themselves out away from their goal line now. They can afford to open it up.
First down of the game by the Cowboys, and it comes with 5:45 remaining in the half. Aikman looking up the middle, and that pass is intercepted by Joyner. And there's the guy you were talking about. Joyner covering Novacek, the tight end, and Seth Joyner picks off the interception, and it's his second of the season.
And a big interception last week. As you watch number 59, Seth Joyner, we talked about his man-on-man coverage abilities. Joyner's number 59. He'll be on Novacek. The strike right there, and look where he is. But that's just plain and simple a bad pass or a bad move by Novacek. Look at the heat. 1, 2, 3. 3 Eagles diving in on the quarterback. And Aikman had to get that ball out of there, did not get it out accurately. But Seth Joyner, as we said, one of the best coverage linebackers in the NFL, and I think the most underrated linebacker, period, in the NFL last year.
Says so in the Eagle press guy that you said that about.
Well, I say it again.
1st and 10, the Eagles get it back on their own 45. It's like a broken record out here, the way the Eagles have had great field position. Byers goes in motion. Heath Sherman can't go outside. And making the tackle was Jack Del Rio, and a gain of only 1.
Del Rio moved from an outside linebacking position to the very responsible middle linebacking position by Dave Wanstadt. Done a good job of taking the plays, of calling the defenses. Eugene Lockhart in that position for a number of years, now no longer on the roster. And Del Rio, by his own admission, a very mediocre pro career. But he said, this is my opportunity. I'm going to make the most of it.
2nd down and 9. Had a solid passing game thus far. We'll try again, and he completes the pass to Barnett, and that'll be good enough for a 1st down. Hendricks is covering an 11-yard pickup, and once again the Eagles are in Dallas territory. Capacity crowd at Texas Stadium. Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen. It's been all Philadelphia possession-wise, and they lead at 10-0. Fred Barnett with an 11-yard reception from Jim McMahon, and Roger Ruzek with a 42-yard field goal.
The Eagles came into this game with a lot of question marks. Well, so far in the game, the Cowboys are asking questions. The Eagles have answers. They have controlled the football offensively, and they have dominated defensively.
It'll be the other way.
1st and 10. And the pitch to Heath Sherman. Sherman with a good gain that time, and Antone Davis, who's got to learn some pass blocking, showed his run blocking abilities there. A gain of 5 yards. James Washington on the tackle.
Antone Davis, the kind of player that you look for coming out of the college ranks. Not only huge in stature, but also very bright and eager to become a better football player. He's taken to the experience in a hurry and has learned very quickly some of the most important lessons of professional football. Said the one thing that surprised him, he said, I can go 4 quarters. I can play 4 quarters in this game.
2nd down and 5 with less than 3.5 minutes to go in the 1st half. McMahon's great catch by Calvin Williams on another high pass. And the ball was stripped away by Hendricks, and the Cowboys are claiming that they've got possession.
I think Williams is hurt. I think you're going to see him come off the field as they quickly motion the trainers onto the field. He looked like he may have come down on his shoulder as he hit the ground, Dick.
On the other end, here's what happened to McMahon.
McMahon taking a blow on this, but gets the pass off, and it's a great leaping catch, similar to the one that helped the Eagles win in the final seconds here last year. Watch the end of the play. Comes right down on that left shoulder, and very quickly they signal for the trainers.
And apparently they're going to rule it an incompleted pass. So they're working on Calvin Williams, and McMahon goes to the sideline.
Playing sight as Calvin Williams, the 3rd starter to head for the locker room so far. Ron Salt has left the field, along with Thomas Sanders.
And now Calvin Williams, you saw Kenny Jackson replace him. 3rd down and 5. McMahon's pass is batted down into his hands, and he tried to lateral it to an alignment. Anything to move the ball.
I don't blame McMahon. He wanted to get rid of that one. Hey, let somebody else run this one. We talked earlier about Ron Heller going in at tackle position against number 77, Jim Jeffcoat. Watch him here as he absorbs the pass pressure, but Jeffcoat up high in the air knocks the ball back to McMahon. There's the attempt at the lateral, and McMahon lucky he didn't fumble the ball as Bates stripped him to the ground.
A loss of 5 yards. Jeff Beagles back to kick. Derek Shepard, penalty marker down.
Cowboys are offside. Boy, that's 2 great kicks from Beagles. Wow.
And Otis Smith was in the right spot. That's a planned play, and Smith had it and knocked it away inside the 3-yard line.
I think you just say no to that one. You're not going to get a better punt than that. And you're not going to get a 1st down.
So for the 2nd time in this 1st half, the Cowboys will have to start from inside their 5. We know that they were offside, but there was also an Eagle penalty. And offsetting penalties will allow Jeff Eagles to kick the ball again. And the Cowboys may get a better break.
I don't know that Beagles can kick it that accurately again. He's put 2 out inside the 5-yard line on his last 2 punts.
Like if he kicks this one inside the 10, boy, he's not doing his job.
I know, there's some surgeons who don't do that good a job, Dick.
Derek Shepard back for the Cowboys. receiver downfield, and it happened to be Otis Smith, the man who downed the ball out of bounds, who is guilty for the Eagles.
Jimmy Johnson smiled at that one. He said, hey, we can probably do better than the 3-yard line. I'm sure they can.
Again looking for the corner. And the ball takes a Dallas bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So they'll get it out at the 20 this time.
Well, score that a +17 for the Cowboys.
Next Saturday, CBS Sports coverage of Major League Baseball features the first-place Toronto Blue Jays against the Oakland A's. The Blue Jays, trying to stay atop the American League East, have a 4.5-game lead going into today's action over the Boston Red Sox. The day begins with Baseball 91 at 2:30 Eastern, updating all the news around the major leagues. That's next Saturday on CBS Sports. Redskins and the Phoenix Cardinals both unbeaten. Washington winning there, and the Bears leading the Giants 10-0. And how about this one?
Wow, that's a good start. Green Bay, that's a baseball score, 5-0.
Herschel Walker, who had an impressive game last week, scored a touchdown for the Vikes. First down from the 20, and Jay Novacek brings it out for the first down. Byron Evans on the tackle, an 11-yard gain for the Cowboys.
Cowboys adjusting their game plan. Jimmy Johnson said, let's go, pick it up. 2 minutes 14. Let's get another play before the 2-minute warning, but I don't think they're going to get it in. They did.
Aikman trapped and sacked, and it's Simmons for his second sack. So the 4th sack of the game by the Philadelphia Eagles in his first half, and a loss of 2 yards. And with 1:57 to go in the first half, is our 2-minute warning. Irony, because here's a man who was besieged after last week's game. Look what he's done so far, 111 yards, and it's been Aikman who has struggled to the tune of 2 interceptions and 4 sacks.
Well, Aikman with all of the fireworks in the first 2 games of the season. Such an explosive offense for the Cowboys. They have been shut down and shackled here today by this Eagle defense.
We've had our 2-minute warning. It'll be second down and 13 from the 29 of Dallas. Aikman lets it go in a hurry, and the pass is picked off. The 3rd interception of the game, and Rich Miano has his 2nd. So the Eagles are really putting the heat on Troy Aikman today, and Rich Miano has 2 of the 3 Eagle interceptions, and they'll get good field position yet again.
And Aikman hears the boos of this capacity Cowboy crowd as he heads for the sideline. A very poor pass thrown right into the hands of the coverage. Watch the free safety just move across. Miano is the man who's going to drift. He's deep. He's reading the eyes of the quarterback. He cuts across, and right here snares that football. But if he didn't get it, there was another Eagle there to get a hand on it.
And in all fairness to Aikman, Wes Hopkins with a safety blitz. The Eagles are just coming in strong on Troy Aikman. And a first down for Philadelphia on the Dallas 45. 10-0, the Eagles lead the Cowboys. McMahon chased by Jeffcoat, and the pass to Drummond out of the backfield is incomplete. And that'll bring up second down. Coming up on the NFL Today Dockers halftime report, Greg and Terry will have the scores, highlights, and the latest information, and a look at Buffalo's high-powered offense. The Eagles have run off 33 plays to Dallas's 16. That's more than twice as many plays here in this first half.
Well, that also will contribute to some fatigue for this Dallas defense later in the ball game. But the Dallas Cowboys have been saying we're a different team this year. Same results as the Eagles have found in the last couple of seasons against Jimmy Johnson's team, however.
2nd and 10. McMahon has time. He's going deep for Barnett. And Barnett makes the catch at the 1-yard line with Manny Hendricks all over him, and a gain of 44 yards. A phenomenal catch by Barnett, and Jim McMahon had the time to go deep.
Barnett took a perfect strike from McMahon, a 75-yarder in the Green Bay game, and McMahon coming back to prove that he can still put that ball deep right here. Dissecting it right down the middle. It'll be on the left side of your screen. Watch Barnett go up. Hendricks right over his shoulder, but Barnett able to reach it and then hang on to it as he rolls into the end zone.
Fred Barnett already has caught 6 passes for 99 yards, including a touchdown reception. And a first and goal on the 1, and Drummond is in for the score. Robert Drummond, and the Eagles have silenced this capacity crowd. At least from the cheers, the boos we're hearing.
And Aikman is hearing them too. Well, and that's what you love. If you're on the road, you want to take the crowd out of the game. Put the pressure on the other team. The Eagles have certainly done that.
This is not totally Troy Aikman's fault. The offensive line has been ineffective against the Eagles defense. Roger Ruzek with the conversion. And Philadelphia has a 17-0 lead over Dallas with 48 seconds remaining in the first half. And for Robert Drummond out of Syracuse, his second career NFL touchdown.
Week 3 of the NFL season. Not all it was expected to be, but here's something exciting. Don Shula going for his 300th win. The grand old men of this game still going strong.
And the quarterbacks are on the money. Great accuracy around the league. The New Orleans Saints off to their best start ever.
And scoring in the AFC up 18% from last year. And in the NFC, hey, quarterbacks getting trumped a little bit.
Well, our halftime feature on the Buffalo Bills is one of the reasons why the AFC is up 18%.
Well, scoring had certainly been up here in Dallas in the first 2 weeks, but it is down dramatically today. Look at that. Miami, Detroit.
Don Shula looking for win number 300. Tie. Ruzek will kick off. James Dixon and Derek Shepard are back deep for Dallas. Dixon is on the left. Eagles capitalizing on a turnover. Rich Miano's interception. It'll be Dixon at the goal line, returning for the Cowboys. Got tripped up once, stayed on his feet, and a very fine return by James Dixon out to the 33-yard line before Scott Kowalkowski rides him out of bounds, a return of 33 yards.
Dick, we started by recounting some of the problems that Cunningham's absence has put the Eagles through, and said it's not just McMahon must do this, McMahon must do that. The offensive line must pick up the slack, and they've got to have performance from everybody else. It's the same thing for the Dallas Cowboys. Aikman is taking credit for all these interceptions, but you're exactly right. He has not had good performance from his offensive line. Supposedly the most improved part of this Dallas offense.
Meanwhile, Merlin, the Cowboys have their best starting field position of this game. Doesn't do him any good as Aikman goes down. That's the 5th sack of the game by Philadelphia, and Mike Golick gets into the column, a loss of 8 yards.
Sometimes it's the pressure from the outside that allows the tackle to get inside and make the play. Reggie White right here is going to put on the pressure, and Golick will come inside and make the sack. But watch the heat come from Reggie White on the outside. Golick moving on a stunt to the inside, but look at White. Drives his man across, puts Nate Newton right on top of the quarterback, Troy Aikman. And Aikman could do nothing but go to the ground and get tagged.
Kevin Gogan, who only had his 3rd career start at left guard, is helped off the field.
What an amazing player Reggie White is. If he played on the right side, he would have a 3rd more sacks. Now, to put that into perspective, look at this. Since 1985, when Reggie became a starter, He's had 98 sacks. No one has more. If you look overall, Lawrence Taylor has a few more, but Reggie, incredible performance.
Second down and 19. Aikman has to rush, and he gets the pass off to Novacek. Byron Evans makes the tackle.
There's Byron Evans. A final thought on Reggie White. The thing that is most impressive about him, he's a complete defensive end. Plays the run first and then rushes the passer.
Aikman sacked again. Back to the 25-yard line, and the clock stops with 11 seconds to go. And this is a no contest. They ought to call this one off, the way the Eagles are playing defense today.
Bud Carson has to be celebrating on the sideline. A number of holdouts on this defense have kept him from making progress, all the progress he wanted with this team, but they certainly have responded here today with a tremendous performance in the first half. 99, Jerome Brown, right-hand side of your screen, pushing his man all the way into the feet of Aikman, and Aikman has nowhere to go except into the arms of Clyde Simmons.
Third sack of the game by Clyde Simmons. The Cowboys ran 19 plays, 6 of them resulted in sacks, 3 interceptions. I never heard of that before. And at the end of the first half, the score, the Eagles 17 and the Cowboys nothing.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Lexus and the new ES300 Sports Sedan. AT&T, the right choice. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
When I was growing up, I had parents that were there for me, to give me that sense of confidence we all need. That's what these big brothers and big sisters are giving to these young people.
Caught a touchdown pass with a big 44-yard gain to set up another score, but it's been the Philadelphia defense with 6 sacks and 3 interceptions the story. And we'll be back for the second half between the Eagles and the Cowboys in just a moment. 17-0, and you know, Merlin, before we talk about this game, we didn't want this day to pass without our saying to you, in our way, happy birthday, Merlin Olsen. And what better way to express it?
You guys
Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. You have something
my
here?
goodness. Oh, my.
Flowers.
Merlin
He's
loves
a flower
it.
man.
and a cheerleader to boot. What a lovely
That's
thing to do. Thank you very much. That's
Thank you very
nice
much.
of you.
Yeah, one of the best birthdays Merlin ever had, I'm sure. Happy birthday to all of us. And we'll be hearing it from you as well.
No birthday presents for Jimmy Johnson today. I would think he looked around that locker room down there and said, do we know each other? Dallas locker room had to be grim. They have had a horrible first half, but maybe the one thing they can look at to make them happy, and those numbers are going to make them very sad. There are only 17 points on the board. The way they played, it could be 35-0.
Look at that. 6 sacks allowed, 3 interceptions, 3 incompletions. Only 7 plays in which they gained yardage. Well, the Cowboys are going to get a chance on offense. Roger Ruzek will be kicking off. Dixon and Shepard back deep for the Cowboys. 17-0, but you know, it's only 17. You'd think the score would be in about 35 the way this game has been going.
Exactly right.
Dixon, a yard in the end zone. Penalty marker down as Dixon is finally stopped at the 27-yard line by Otis Smith.
Looked like a block in the back by Darrell Johnston, maybe have drawn the flag on that last play, and Dallas woes continue. What looked to be decent field position will be marched back.
That was a 28-yard return by Dixon. Kind of lets the wind out of the sails early here in the second half.
Now here's a man who has to be extremely pleased. Bud Carson is no longer the head coach at Cleveland, but he is doing what he does extremely well. Coordinating a defense, and inherited an excellent crop of defensive players. Boy, he loves what he got when he walked into Philadelphia.
Loves the first, yeah.
Said the same kind of people he got when he went to Pittsburgh and also into L.A. But today, maybe even better the way they're playing.
Emmitt Smith brings it out to the 15. A gain of 5 yards. North. No, that was William Thomas on the tackle.
You're standing on the far sideline and your name is Jimmy Johnson. You really try not to lose your cool in this situation. There's still plenty of time to get back into this ball game, but the thing you have to do is start playing football, and it starts with that offensive line.
2nd down and 5. Smith, who gained only 4 yards, brings it out for the 1st down. Here's a guy who's leading the NFC in rushing and receiving. He picks up 8 yards before Byron Evans makes the tackle, and a Dallas 1st down.
Kind of like a headache remedy. When you're not going well, what do? You go back to the basics of the game. You go right up the middle and you begin to establish your physical presence on the field. The Cowboys do that here with a nice gain by Emmitt Smith, who's been almost invisible in the first half.
And a big block by Alonzo Highsmith, who was a holdout, was injured last year. Smith again doesn't get anything there. Mike Pitts making the tackle for the Eagles. Pitts was getting off to a great start a year ago before he came down with injury early on, and that took care of his campaign.
Smith gets a yard.
That'll tell you something.
5.1 yards on 1st down, less than a yard for the Cowboys. 2nd down and 9. William Thomas, rookie, replaces Jesse Small at outside linebacker for Philadelphia. Aikman up the middle and nearly intercepted. Smith was the intended receiver, but defending on the play was Seth Joyner, who already has an interception today.
Some of you who watched Jay Novacek last week may wonder where he has been. Here's the tight end right here. Watch him as he heads out on this pass pattern and gets swallowed up on this play. Bang, right there, just simply absorbed. No way to go to him. Byron Evans, number 56, picking him up.
3rd down and 9 for the Cowboys. Less than 3 minutes have gone by here in the 3rd quarter. Eagles are rushing a bunch here, and Aikman has to get rid of it in a hurry. Incomplete, intended for Michael Irvin. Covering was Eric Allen, and it'll be 4th down, but once again it was pressure by linebackers and backs on Troy Aikman.
The offense that Norv Turner brought to this Dallas Cowboy team is a timing offense. Aikman is throwing to a spot on the field, but when the heat is on and when the pressure is on Aikman and when his receivers are being banged around, he can't get that ball thrown accurately to the spot, and that has been the case here today.
4th down, and Mike Saxon will be kicking deep. Rod Harris, a good high kick. Harris will call for the fair catch at the 34. Earlier, Harris returned a punt 36 yards, his career best. So the Eagles with the lead and the ball.
Bulletin.
Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen here at Texas Stadium, and for many years, in recent years, the Cowboys have not been able to sell out here. But the first 3 games of this season have been sellouts. They have sold out the Redskins, the Eagles, and of course the Giants come in 2 weeks from now. Interesting that 3 NFC Eastern opponents in the first month here at Texas Stadium, which means of course they got to play on the road later on.
Well, we talk about the difficulty that Dallas has had winning in the NFC East. Only 2 games in the last 2 years they've been able to win from NFC opponents.
1st down, Eagles on their 35. James Joseph goes in motion. Keith Sherman. Even though Philadelphia has outrushed Dallas 40-19, the Cowboys have been effective in halting the Philadelphia running attack thus far, but the Eagles have protected McMahon exceptionally well.
Well, the Eagles have been able to at least show that they can run the football. The emphasis has been on the passing game, but when they have wanted to, they've been able to show the run. Enough so that the Cowboys have not been able to tee off and go after McMahon.
No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. Russell Merlin ready to storm in if possible. Rod Harris and Barnett are the 2 wide receivers. And there's a hit, but Byers gets the ball and sheds the tackler and is knocked out of bounds. They'll still have long yardage to go for the 1st down. Isaac Holt defending against Byers. He picked up 2 yards.
This offensive line, its first priority of the day, protect Jim McMahon. McMahon has not been sacked today. He's been hit a few times, but that's going to happen. McMahon will take his hits. He just doesn't want to take too many of them. We talked about Heller moving in at that left tackle position. So critical because very often he's out there by himself. He has done a good job today on that position. Ron Salt is out of there, so we've got another replacement in at the right guard position, Dennis McKnight.
Third down and 8. Barnett in motion. They overload the right side, and we're going to have a penalty. Maybe a free play again. Mickey Schuler makes the catch just shy of midfield. 2 flags are down. It would be a 12-yard pickup with Bill Bates. A couple of veterans against each other, and Schuler shaken up.
Bates and Schuler had their helmets hooked together. Finally got on track, but Mickey, who has had some back problems in the past, very slow getting up.
Penalty will be against the Cowboys apparently, and will be declined. And once again, another offensive performer for the Philadelphia Eagles is hurt. You mentioned Salt, the right guard. Thomas Sanders went out early with a twisted knee, and Calvin Williams, x-rays on his shoulder, also out. And now Mickey Schuler.
Paying for it. Extra pepperoni. Extra cheese. Without paying for it. It's lots. Get extra pepperoni and extra cheese on 2 pizzas without paying extra.
Lots. At
$8.98, it's a steal.
Ron Heller told us, I have to worry about my man. Here he is, and watch how he takes care of Tony Tolbert. Tolbert rushing wide. That's an area that he had problems with earlier. Watch Heller dive right for the knees and take Tolbert to the ground.
Eagles with a first down on their own 49 with 4 minutes gone by here in the third quarter. They send Byers in motion. McMahon looks left and is passed off the fingertips of Barnett. Incomplete. And right now, for an NFL Today update, let's check in with Greg Gumbel in our New York studios. Greg?
Hey, Dick, how about a little baseball news? Down in Atlanta, first inning, Sid Bream's 10th home run of the year is a big one with the bases full in the bottom of the first off Dodger pitcher Ramon Martinez. Atlanta starts the day a half game up on LA in the National League West. They're in the second inning now, 5-0. Atlanta over the Dodgers, Dick.
All right, Greg, the former Pirate, now playing for the Braves with a big grand slam home run. The Eagles have had a few grand slams defensively today, leading 17-0. They have a second down and 10. And a draw play, and that will go nowhere. Stopped in his tracks was Keith Sherman. Jimmy Jones right there. Loss of 4 yards. Will be 3rd and long upcoming for the Eagles.
Dick, I talked earlier about field position, and this game is so difficult when you start backed up against your own goal line, and that's been the case for Dallas all day. Philadelphia, on the other hand, has started with the average field position on their 47-yard line. Dallas has started on their own 22 for an average possession. That means that Dallas has got to get 2.5 first downs before they're even up to where Philadelphia started their drive.
Working on Mickey Schuler's hand on the sidelines. Meanwhile, 3rd down and 14. McMahon operating out of the shotgun. McMahon has time, dumps it off to Heath Sherman, and Sherman will not get the yards for the first down, but dives forward into Dallas territory and gets 7 yards. Bill Bates and Manny Hendricks bring him down, and Jeff Feagles will have to come in and kick it away.
Well, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you're beginning to be a little bit desperate. You need to get something to turn the emotion of this game around. Sometimes that kind of turnaround can come on special teams. You might consider blocking a punt, or you certainly would love to break one loose.
Eagles will kick, and there's Derek Shepard standing on his 10. And they tried right there. Merlin, you were right on the money. The Cowboys were going for it, and Shepard at the 6-yard line is tackled immediately by Otis Smith. So great coverage downfield by Philadelphia following the 42-yard kick, and it was Kenneth Gant who nearly got a piece of that kick.
Gant, who's a great special teamer, will come from right at the bottom of your screen. Watch him as he dives for the blocking point right here. Diving inside and actually just missing that ball by inches. Oof. There's the owner, Jerry Jones. He said, hey, we can all help. Let me go down there. Maybe I can.
Well, you know, Jones and Jimmy Johnson both played at Arkansas together, and they've got a partnership. You know, Jimmy Johnson is getting involved in the business end of the Cowboys, and Jones may be an assistant coach soon.
He's down there to help, I can tell you that.
First and 10 on the 7, and Emmitt Smith rushes out to the 8-yard line. He has not been able to get loose today.
The way things have gone here in the early part of this game, Jimmy Johnson is probably willing to say, why don't you take the headset? Jerry, come on over here. Let you make a few calls.
See how tough it can be.
It has been a grim first half, and it has started off ugly here in the second half for the Cowboys.
Second down and 8. Cowboys on the 9-yard line. Troy Aikman, no interceptions coming into this game, has thrown 3 away today. Aikman's toss is dropped. And that was the backup tight end, Alfredo Roberts. Jesse Small was covering him, but that was simply a drop pass.
Hey, that's it. When they back up, one of those guys is going in motion. The way they just ran, it's either pass.
We talked to Troy Aikman yesterday about his ability to stand in against the rush, and he said, hey, that goes back to high school for me. We didn't have a big offensive line. We couldn't always protect. I learned I had to stay in there and stand into the rush if I was going to make the big play. Well, he hasn't lacked courage today. Boy, he has sure not had much effectiveness against this Philadelphia Eagle defense.
3rd and 8 from the goal line, and Aikman.
Yes.
And let's
Fumble.
see if it'll be a fumble.
You bet it will.
Or an incompleted pass. It is a fumble. The arm was going forward. Clyde Simmons got a piece of it.
I think Simmons may have knocked that arm forward. Simmons certainly with his 4th sack of the day to tie Reggie White. From the right-hand side of your screen, Mark Tuanay has always had trouble with Clyde Simmons, and it continues today as Simmons flashes by him and nails Aikman right there.
Well, the Eagles' record for an individual player most sacks in a game is 4. Reggie White has done it 3 times, but today Clyde Simmons has picked up his 4th sack, and we still have 7:46 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Rod Harris back deep for Philadelphia at midfield, and Saxon
will have to kick from the short punt formation.
They reviewed it upstairs and did confirm the fact that it was ruled a fumble. Now, Saxon doesn't have much room back now.
No, very short punt here, and he's got to watch the back of the end zone.
And Harris will get it at the Cowboy 42. And the former Cowboy is stopped at the 34-yard line by Godfrey Miles. Clyde Simmons, the leader of the pack for the Philadelphia Eagles today, the leader of a 7-sack pack. On first down, James Joseph, the Auburn rookie and the top rusher in preseason for Philadelphia, carries the ball for a couple, and Jack Del Rio is there to bring him down.
What a difference a week makes. Richie Kotite talking to us about his offensive backs. He said the only one that didn't fumble last week was James Joseph. Well, those backs have been very sure-handed today and have merely added to the very positive mix of good running plays and excellent passes from McMahon. McMahon has thrown the ball high a few times today, but when he's had to be on target, he's been on target.
Mickey Schuler, who came out of the game with an injured hand, is back in there at tight end for the Eagles. 2nd down and 9. Eagles at the Cowboy 33. McMahon fires, and the pass is dropped by Harris. It's an incompleted pass. And that will bring up 3rd down. Troy Aikman on the sideline. And you know, you say the way he can take the punishment. Norvell Turner said that Aikman reminds him a lot of his old friend Dan Fouts, who they both played at Oregon together. Both tough, gutty, hang in the pocket well.
Reminds me a little of Roman Gabriel, a name very familiar to Eagle fans who are tuned in. And one of the things that Roman did early in his career, and it's also been a weakness of Aikman's, sometimes stands in too long, takes too many hits. One of the things that Norv Turner tried to get Aikman to do, he said, when the play's gone sour, just get that ball out of there, get rid of it, throw it out of bounds.
3rd down and 9. Pressure on McMahon and the whistle. Let's see if the time had run down and we have a delay of game call.
Well, what else could go wrong for these Cowboys?
Delay of game, 25-second clock expired. Still third down.
Penalty against the Eagles. Delay of game 5 yards. Third down and 14. There's the penalty story today. Last week, the Eagles were penalized 11 times. In fact, second most penalized team to the Saints coming into this one today. Ridden Barrett, Jimmy Johnson, that's the story so far for him. Third down and 14. Pocket. Trying to go to Harris again at the sideline as the other receivers were covered well. Robert Williams was on Harris, and that will bring up a fourth down.
Depth obviously a problem at that wide receiver position as Calvin Williams out of the game. Rod Harris takes his place. 2 critical drops here on this series.
Roger Ruzek, who had kicked a 42-yard field goal earlier, will try one from 55 yards with Jeff Beagles holding. A 55-yard attempt for Ruzek, who is yet to miss this year. A boomer. It's long enough, and the kick is no good. It's off to the left. He hooked it at the last moment.
Jeff Beagles did a good job of taking a bad snap and putting it down. But the kick just not good for Ruzek. Another one of those Cowboys that got away and making a return here today. Has to be pleased at the way his team is playing. Well, that man has got to be extremely pleased. It's all gone his way today. Here's that snap. Watch Beagles taking a low snap, getting it in position, but very often when that ball is snapped poorly and the holder has to work so hard, it throws the timing off for the kicker.
Well, right now the Cowboys have the ball at the 37, and that's their farthest advance, believe it or not, their own 37, and it comes on a missed field goal. Emmitt Smith on first down gets nothing on the play, and Jerome Brown makes the tackle. Coming into this game, the Eagles' run defense, one of the best in the NFL.
Well, the Eagles are going to drop that average even further today to challenge New Orleans, but they come into every ball game saying, we're going to take your running game away from you. They'll stack 8 people at the line of scrimmage and defy you to throw the football. They want to force you to become one-dimensional. Well, they've really been able to do that to the Cowboys, and Aikman and the Cowboys have suffered accordingly.
Second down and 9. Aikman in trouble, and that'll be sack number 8 by the Philadelphia Eagles, and Clyde Simmons has established an Eagle record. That is his 5th sack of the game. Clyde Simmons will keep this tape and play it over and over again for his grandchildren.
A chance to watch Clyde Simmons here as he just gets around and blows to the inside. Lined up very tight here, just around on 2-A, throws him outside and then goes right back underneath. But Aikman's got to get rid of that football. He's hanging on to the football and paying the price for it.
Third down and 12, and Aikman under pressure again and goes down again, and the Eagles have tied a club record with 9 sacks in a game, and Mike Golick has 2. Well, you're going to need a box score to keep track of all the quarterback sacks by the front 4 of the Philadelphia Eagles this afternoon. Loss of 8 on that play.
Sorry, Dick, when you have taken away the running game of an offense and you can play exclusively against the passing game, it is purely the kind of game that defensive linemen dominate. The offensive linemen don't have a chance. Number 90, Mike Golick, gets his moment.
Mike Saxon with a fine kick. Rod Harris backpedals to his 15. Penalty marker is down, and so is Harris at the 24-yard line. Darrell Johnston making the tackle. That was a 55-yard kick by the Cowboy punter.
Penalty on Izell Jenkins, a little block in the back there, but doesn't help the Cowboys that much. That doesn't put any points on the board, does it?
Illegal block from behind. Number 46 on the return. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Jenkins it is, but you know, despite it all, Merlin, and an intimidating, crushing defensive performance by the Eagles, the score remains 17-0 with 4:26 to go in the third. So the Cowboys are looking for just one little crease to get something going. Can't find it.
Certainly have not found it yet in this ball game, and you look at the smiles that are exhibited on that sideline. The other, as you look down, you see that the Eagles are in the sun. The Cowboys are in the shade. That's what you do to your opponents in the early part of the season here in this stadium. I got to tell you, this hot down there too. But that's about the only uncomfortable thing that the Cowboys have done to the Eagles all day.
Crowd trying to spur this team on as the Eagles start from the 9 and are still at the 9-yard line. Joseph carries, and he is hit immediately by Jimmy Jones. So the crowd doesn't cease, and the players urge them on. And right now, if you're Russell Merlin and Jimmy Jones and some of the Cowboys defense, a turnover could start it, but Philadelphia has been error-free today. McMahon going up top. There was contact downfield, but it's incidental with Barnett and Hendricks. And right now, for an NFL Today update, let's check it again with Greg Gumbel. Greg?
Dick, at Soldier Field in Chicago, the Giants are closing in after a second-half opening field goal. Rodney Hampton from 6 yards out, and the Bears' lead is cut to 13-10 in the third quarter, Dick.
Rodney Hampton's first game back. It'll be 3rd and 10 coming up for the Eagles. Jim McMahon wants a timeout. Philadelphia will call its first timeout of the second half. And if nothing else, it'll quiet the crowd for a couple of minutes.
The Battles of October, the League Championship Series, coming soon.
17-0. The Eagles call the timeout. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
There's a Cowboy who's seen good days and bad days. Would love to make a big play right here. Billy Bates.
He's been a big play man down through the years. Inside handoff to Joseph. And it'll be 4th down as Ray Horton makes the tackle. All they wanted to do is give their kicker, Jeff Eagles, some room to be able to kick this one away.
Well, and for the second time in a row, the Cowboys will get some field position, something that they have not had all day long. And this crowd asserting itself, say they're getting involved. Well, the Cowboys now have to get involved.
Derek Shepard to return. Eagles gets off a beauty. Shepard falls down. Takes a big Philadelphia bounce, and nothing goes right for the Dallas Cowboys today. The ball will die inside the 10 as Shepard lost his footing, and forget about good field position. It's bad field position.
Torrential rain last night left this surface slick, and even though we've got a hot sunny day, there's still moisture in the turf. Watch this as Shepard sets his feet to take the fair catch. He's lucky that ball didn't touch him, or it would have been Eagles' ball.
A 77-yard kick by the time it stopped bouncing inside the 10.
When it goes wrong. Oh, boy.
Wow. Remember a couple of years ago, Randall Cunningham kicked a 92-yard punt against the Giants? 2:44 remaining in the third quarter. 1st and 10. Smith brings it out close to the 15-yard line. They're going to need more than that, however.
You still have the feeling, as poorly as the Cowboys have played in this game, that if they could get something going, if they could just get started here, put some points on the board, there's still time to come back in this ball game. But so far, there has been little to cheer about, if anything, for the Cowboys. Wow.
25 yards today for Irvin Smith after going over 100 in the first 2 games of the year. Second down and 6. And the pitch to Irvin Smith. And he's short of the first down by less than a yard. And let's see where the spot is. Making the tackle for Philadelphia, Jerome Brown, and the middle linebacker, Byron Evans.
Another player that we have not heard from today, Michael Irvin. Had a fine start so far this season. 13 catches, a couple of touchdowns.
Well, one of the reasons he hasn't been free was because of the pressure and Aikman having to get rid of it in a hurry, and all those sacks. They go to measure.
Kind of hard to throw when you're on your back,
right.
Isn't it?
By the way, we wanted the official scoring. Clyde Simmons has 4.5 sacks. They gave Jerome Brown and Simmons a half a sack on a previous play. So Simmons is 4.5, Brown 2.5.
That's still a record.
Yeah, Golick 2. And
no, I don't think it's over yet.
You know, when it's over, you're going to have.
Yeah, well, it's not over yet. Eventually, these Cowboys are going to have to throw the ball again, and the way it's been going today, there are going to be some more sacks and probably a new Eagle record set.
Third down and 1 coming up for Dallas. Boy, the Eagles coming out ferocious after the loss to the Cardinals last week. Third down and 1, and they pack the line. First down, Emmitt Smith dives beyond the 20. Reggie White on the tackle. Cowboys don't have many first downs in this game.
No, Dick, there's more at stake here than just this ball game. When you're embarrassed, as the Cowboys have been throughout this ball game, everyone watching the game and everyone who sees the tapes of that game will begin to try and pick out the things that your opponent did to you that were effective. This is not the kind of tape the Cowboys want to have circulated around the league.
That was their 4th first down of this game, and they have a first down now. Aikman, and they're pushing the line into his face again. And the pass incomplete, penalty marker down, and we may have a roughing the passer here. I'm not sure. I know he got hit in the face. Someone hit Aikman in the face.
Roughing the passer, number 59 of the defense.
And it's Seth Joyner, the linebacker.
Joyner will come up inside. You see him right there, and the hands go to the face. There's no question for the officials. Not a matter of timing. You put those hands to the face, they're going to throw that yellow flag on you, and that's, well, I don't know. Aikman's the kind of quarterback who will probably take that shot for the 10 yards. As desperate as his team is right now, at least now they're outside the 35-yard line. This is a long drive for the Cowboys today. They've moved the ball almost 20 yards.
That's the 7th penalty for the Eagles for 70 yards. Aikman completes to Novacek. Flag is down, and Novacek close to a first down if that penalty is against the Eagles, and a gain of 9 yards. Andre Waters, the strong safety, covering on the play.
Offensive interference, number 84.
Yeah, well, it figures, doesn't it?
Push off against Novacek.
Novacek working initially against Seth Joyner, and we talked about how tough he is in coverage. And Novacek pushing to get a little bit of an advantage to get away from Joyner, called for offensive interference.
I still think that the telling play in this game for the Cowboys is when they had the ball, perhaps in best field position, and a punt. Derek Shepard slips and the ball goes inside the 10-yard line for 77 yards.
It tells you about their game, just as the last play of last game for the Eagles talked about their game.
Right.
Fumbling into the opponent's end zone at the end of a ball game.
So it's first down and 20, and on the draw play, Emmitt Smith will get about 3. That'll be the final play of this third quarter as the Cowboys on the shady part of this field. And that's the end of the third quarter. And our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Norv Turner, offensive coordinator, Dallas Cowboys, looking for inspiration, I'm sure, trying to figure out what in the world he can do from up there to help his team. He's taken some bows over the last couple of weeks as the Cowboys have been most impressive, especially in first half drives, long drives. 4 of them versus the Cleveland Browns, 3 of them last week versus the Redskins. But boy, he has to be saying, what in the world are we going to have to do to get some points on the board here?
Well, only 56 yards rushing and a net 5 yards passing because they have lost 49 yards because of the sacks. Second down and 17 on the Cowboy 29. Aikman hanging in there, and the pass is batted by Reggie White back into Aikman's hands. So he caught his own pass.
We've seen both quarterbacks receive their own passes today as Reggie just zipped up and slapped that one back into his palms. You'll see it on the left-hand side of your screen. Watch Reggie White driving on Nate Newton, and Newton keeps him away, but look at that. Just reaches up and slaps it back, and Aikman, responding as an athlete, gathers it in and takes it to the ground.
And a loss of 7, and you could say, well, why doesn't he just let it be incomplete? You see Clyde Simmons lurking behind him on the right.
Well, on a day like today, you got to honestly say, hey, if I let this one go, they'll catch it and carry it into the end zone.
Probably. Third down and 23 now. And the pass to Smith out of the backfield. He came into the game as the leading receiver in the NFC, and he picks up 12 yards right there. Wes Hopkins making the tackle. They're short of it by 10 yards.
Well, this is the kind of day you love if you're a defensive player. The offense hasn't been able to do anything. You have been able to dictate to them. You've been able to sack their quarterback. You've been able to intercept them. They have yet to march into your territory. I mean, that is impressive. Haven't yet to cross the 50.
Fourth down, and they have no choice but to go for it. 4th and 11. And Philadelphia will call the timeout. The Eagles have called their second timeout of the second half. They don't really need a lot right now with that lead.
Summary is sponsored by Coors Light.
Philadelphia with 9 sacks, and the Eagles have protected Jim McMahon. Look at his numbers. 3 interceptions by the Philadelphia defense. It's been all the Eagles' defensive field position, leading 17-0. And on 4th down, the Cowboys will not go for it on 4th and 11, and Mike Saxon will kick. Rod Harris goes back deep for the Eagles. And Harris fields it and loses possession, and Dallas picks it up inside the 5. Gant. And there's a break for the Dallas Cowboys.
It was watch that ball bounce, and Gant right there to strip it away and then scoop it up and make his way down to about the 3-yard line. Outstanding play by Kenneth Gant. He was the man that almost blocked the punt just moments ago on special teams, and you're not going to get that football back. An opportunity for the Dallas Cowboys that they must take advantage of if they're going to climb back into this game.
He doesn't want to give up that football.
I don't blame him. Well, they're going to mark that ball down
on the 11-yard line.
You can't advance a muff. It's on the 11-yard line.
Johnston goes out wide, and the handoff is to Smith, and he gets to the 10-yard line, a gain of 1. And you know, the Philadelphia Eagles with a 17-0 lead, they want to preserve a shutout if they can. Mike Pitts is in on the tackle. It'll bring up 2nd down.
Just for those of you who are wondering why it's on the 11 instead of down inside the 5, they ruled that the receiver did not have possession of that football, and when it bounced away, it was a muffed football and therefore could not be advanced.
Giants have taken the lead over the Bears. The Vikings still lead the 49ers. 2nd down and 9 for the Cowboys.
First real test for this Eagles defense all day.
And here comes a pass, and Reggie White came in unmolested. No one picked him up. And that is the 10th sack of the game by the Eagles, and a loss of 9 back to the 20. And Reggie White with his first sack, a new Philadelphia record of 10.
Number 92, Reggie White, and watch him, not fooled at all by the play action. He's going to fly right around Nate Newton. Watch him right here. Aikman thinking he could get that quick roll, a little bootleg against the grain, but Reggie, anticipating a trick play, came upfield very quickly and celebrates the sack.
10 sacks and losses of 58 yards today. Tremendous frontline effort. It's 3rd down and 18. And a fumble. Philadelphia has it. They try to lateral it. It's going to be Eagles ball. We'll find out whether it's a forward lateral. It was not. Clyde Simmons. It was Mike Pitts who made the hit. Reggie White recovered it, and he lateraled it to Clyde Simmons, and the Eagles will have it at the 43-yard line.
And the disaster continues for the Cowboys and Aikman. A shot in the back, the ball rolls free, and of course, you got a green jersey on top of it. The lateral even picks up a few extra yards. And an opportunity to turn this game around. A first down on the 11-yard line. The Eagle defense comes out, instantly takes charge, and then takes the football away from the Cowboys.
Jimmy Johnson has his headset off, and he is fuming right now because his offensive line has been totally ineffective against the Philadelphia Eagles. 11 quarterback sacks, a new Eagles record. I guess ineffective was fine when it was 5 sacks. Now it's 11. They are monsters.
I wonder what they're discussing on the field.
Checking whether that was a forward lateral. My feeling was it was a forward lateral.
Let's see if it is. No, I don't think so.
Oh, I
think
he
threw that ball back against the grain.
I think it was
hard to tell from that angle, but
it has to be indisputable evidence to change it.
An illegal forward lateral from the 33-yard line. We will penalize 5 yards.
They agreed with you. Good eyes, Dick.
1st and 10. Philadelphia on the 28.
A look from the side. We'll get a better look at it here. Well, I don't know. That's about as close as it can get.
It was only a half a yard in front, but the big story is 11 sacks. I gotta sympathize a bit and feel for that man.
Well, you see that split in his chin beginning to ooze a little blood as Aikman, who'd had 7 stitches removed from that chin this week, the result of a collision in the game 2 weeks ago. But it has been one long afternoon, and Troy Aikman has to be remembering some of the games from his rookie year, a disastrous season in which they went without a victory. They thought they'd gone beyond that, but they have reverted today. 2 steps back.
1st and 10 from the 33.
That's all we need to know. Jerry Austin, the referee. It's 1st and 10 from the 33.
Does it really matter at this point? You know, if there was an uncle rule in the NFL, I think the Cowboys might take it right now and say, let's just get out of here.
On 1st down, James Joseph for a couple of yards. You see Jerry Jones right over there with Troy Aikman now, encouraging him. And all Troy is saying is, yeah, you don't have to stand in there, Jerry.
Well, I want to tell you, I've been in some games that were much more one-sided than this. And there are things going through your mind like, boy, I hope the tape machine breaks down upstairs. You know that you're going to have to look at this tape tomorrow. And it is going to be more painful, if possible, than this game has been.
That offensive front is going to have to look at that tape. 2nd down and 10. McMahon gets rid of it. And the pass is caught by Barnett. He's got a 1st down. Making the tackle is Manny Hendricks, so Barnett now with a 12-yard pickup.
Tackle by number 45.
7 catches for 111 yards. That's the good news for the Eagles, but Calvin Williams has an injured shoulder. And he is going to be out for at least 2 months.
Oof, that is not good news. The Eagles have had so much to celebrate here today, but they have had some injuries that could dampen the excitement of this big win over the Cowboys.
Thomas Sanders went out early with an injury, twisted knee. First down for Jim McMahon, and the Eagles on their 44. And a gain of a couple. Correct that injury report on Sanders. Was his ankle, Merlin?
His left ankle.
James Joseph on that carry. Second down and 7.
I think the definition of eternity is being down and embarrassed this thoroughly as a Cowboy and looking up and still realizing you've got another 10 minutes left in this ball game. And right now for Reggie White and the Eagles, they just want to get out of here. They've proved they've made their point today. It's been done on the field. They've demonstrated what they wanted to demonstrate.
Second down and 7. Joseph trying to go outside. And Vincent Smith there making the tackle. Pickup of only a yard. These are the numbers when they look at the stats and the tapes. The sacks today, 11 in all, led by Clyde Simmons with a club record 4.5 sacks in one game.
Share the glory.
Yep.
Share the glory. That's what it is. And begin to build on the highlight reel defensively. A lot of material for it here today.
Well, we've got 9 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Score hasn't changed. 17-0. Third down and 6.
Twice today, McMahon has not been able to get off within the time allotted.
For the snap, delay a game. 25-second clock expired. 5 yards.
Bears regain the lead with 6:39 remaining over the Giants. The Redskins running away from the Cardinals. Minnesota Vikings.
Wow.
They looked good last week against Atlanta.
Played well against Atlanta and doing well.
Battle of the Bays. Looks like a baseball score, of course.
About what you'd expect for that one. And Detroit has managed to go ahead of Miami. Shula may not get that 300th today.
11-3. Cleveland, is that right? Cleveland over Cincinnati. 11-3. Third down and 11. And Joseph. See where they spot the ball. It'll be enough for the first down to the 44-yard line of Dallas. James Washington on the tackle.
Well, there's a man who started hot in the last 2 ball games and has been ice cold here today. Emmitt Smith, such a productive back for these Cowboys when he finally got into the lineup last year, but now in this ball game has done very, very little. I'll tell you that. And pain for all of these men. They're proud. They're professionals.
And outplayed.
They are disappointed. Yeah. Boy, have they ever.
Joseph, the Auburn rookie, getting a chance to show his skills. Gets into the 39-yard line. Gain of 6 yards. Right now, let's check in with Greg Gumbel in New York. Greg?
Well, Dick, the Bears had a 13-point lead wiped out, but watch Neil Anderson of the Bears come around the side, 42 yards. He did not step out of bounds at the 5-yard line, and his dive got him into the end zone. It's the Bears leading at 20-17. All the scores and highlights coming up on the postgame show. Dick?
All right, Greg, and a couple of surprises around the league as we wind down to 7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Second down and 5. Keep it on the ground to Joseph, using up time. They'll be shy of a first down by 1.5 yards, maybe 2.
I have to wonder if maybe Rich Kotite isn't thinking about perhaps going to one of those backup quarterbacks, realizing that McMahon's health is a little tenuous and how inexperienced his rookie is, Brad Gable. Might not be a bad idea to, at some point in this fourth quarter, give the young man or give Pat Ryan a chance to get a little rust off of him. Hasn't played in a year. That backup quarterback, obviously an important position for these Eagles, and 2 without well, without credentials right now, standing in behind McMahon at the moment.
He's got 2 quarterbacks he can call on. 3rd down and 2. And here's the bootleg, and McMahon has the first down. You know, I never thought that they would run that kind of a play. You talked about McMahon staying in the game. Well, you don't want your top quarterback to run a play like that, do you?
I think maybe McMahon blew the play. It's either that or they want to demonstrate that they have some of those things in the offense, that you can't just play that. I think maybe McMahon blew the play and just came out of there. I think he turned the wrong way. He's smiling. Look at number 9. Yeah, this is the kind of game that he loved when he was a Chicago Bear. When his defense, when that great defense, their Super Bowl season, 1985, their defense was tearing everybody up. McMahon was at the peak of his power as an offensive quarterback, went to the Pro Bowl, won the Super Bowl big that year.
Joseph for a couple of yards, and you know, he's just looking for a full healthy year. He's never had a year in which he was totally healthy and played the full schedule. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and the CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the National Football League is prohibited. The Cowboys have gained more yards from officials on the Eagle penalties, 75, than from their own offense today. That's not a pretty number. Neither is that a pretty penalty.
We saw Kenny Norton making an outstanding play early by guessing with the count and jumping in and getting McMahon. Not so here. McMahon gives him the hot count. And
on the defense, 5 yards.
Cowboys are offsides. Well, Jimmy, what kind of speech do you make to this team? Boy, I tell you, I don't know what you can say.
He's starting to make it now.
There's not a heck of a lot to be gained from even looking at these tapes of this game. It's been that ugly.
But with a young club, maybe you do, and I'm sure you do. I'm sure they will.
I'm sure they will too.
Look at that total offense.
You know, I guess the only plus that I can think of in this situation, one of the only ones, they don't have to get on a plane and go anywhere. They can get out of here after this game and go home.
Like many of the fans have already done. 2nd down and 4.
Again.
Another flag. Now Noonan is signaling that was Philadelphia drawing them offside, and he may be right on that one.
Another stat that, well, let's let the officials
Ball start
speak.
before the snap. Left guard pulled up, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
Coming into this game, Jim McMahon had the 2nd highest winning percentage of any starting quarterback in the NFL, second only to Joe Montana. 50 wins and 23 losses. He'll now go to 51 and 23 with the victory here today.
2nd down and 9. Bruce Colley was the guard who was guilty of the false start. Here comes the blitz. McMahon going on a fade, and the pass, and there'll be a penalty. Pass interference against Manny Hendricks, and Fred Barnett was ready to make the catch. He's already caught 1 touchdown pass and another one for a big 44-yard play, and Hendricks will be guilty of the call.
You see Hendricks, number 45, right there with the bump clearly ahead of the ball. As if the Eagles needed help, they get it here. There's the other shot. You see him on the back, clearly beaten by Barnett. A fine young receiver, runs excellent patterns, and that ball extremely well thrown. McMahon has thrown the deep ball much better than we thought he could here today.
4:24 remaining. 7 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown today for Fred Barnett. Heath Sherman and James Joseph are the running backs, and the pitch is to Heath Sherman. Gives ground and is stopped back at the 6-yard line by Jimmy Jones. Merlin, you made a good point. You have seen bigger routes than this one. This is just 17-0, but never have you seen perhaps as decisive a defensive manhandling as we've had by the Eagles today.
Well, the score doesn't always dictate what has happened on the field. And very often you see a very lopsided game because people are playing catch-up and they make a lot of mistakes. Points go on the board. But this game has been so one-sided that you can't. The only positive thing that I can see for the Dallas Cowboys, they made one big play on special teams. I mean, aside from that, it would be hard for me to point to anything to make those coaches smile on the far sideline.
2nd and goal on the 6. McMahon. Pass caught. And Byers, does he get in? Yes, touchdown, Philadelphia. That was sheer strength on the part of Keith Byers, and a touchdown for him, his 2nd of the year as a receiver.
Byers just using great strength and good body control, caught that ball on the 2-yard line and wouldn't be denied the end zone. Let's watch it on this play. Just a tremendous effort. He's hit, it's almost the 3-yard line. Literally carries Gant right into the end zone.
Roger Ruzek is on. The score is 23-0 now in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles. And now it's 24 with 3:31 to go. It's going to be a tremendous flight back for the Eagles tonight.
Beer now.
3:31 remaining here at Texas Stadium. The Philadelphia Eagles leading the Dallas Cowboys 24-0. The Cowboys offense has not crossed midfield today on their own initiative. Something you rarely see in the National Football League. I wonder if Phoenix has done it against the Washington Redskins with that big lead. 49ers coming back, as are the Buccaneers. Kickoff by Ruzek, and it's James Dixon on the 3. Dixon with another outstanding return. He has been one of the bright spots. Roger Ruzek, the kicker, making the stop on a 39-yard return by Dixon.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. The Cowboys' return as contenders is built with developing stars. Troy Aikman arrived in '89 and in 2 seasons has become the best young quarterback in the game. In 1990, Aikman was joined by Emmitt Smith, who made the Pro Bowl in his first professional season. As individuals, Smith and Aikman are key elements in the Dallas resurgence. Together as teammates, they make the Cowboys the best they can be.
10 for the Cowboys on the 42. Troy Aikman still in there fighting, completes the pass to Michael Irvin. And right on him was Eric Allen.
One has to wonder what will be written in the papers in Philadelphia this week. 1 week ago, the Eagles were ripped. 6 turnovers, 10 penalties. And many felt they simply gave the game away. In fact, these Eagles felt they gave a game away to Phoenix.
2nd down and 6. Aikman with a penalty marker down. Dumps it off to the tight end, Novacek. He'll have the first down if that flag is against Philadelphia. Izell Jenkins on the stop. But the Cowboys are guilty of holding. Jim McMahon responding to last week's debacle against the Cardinals. Coming up on the NFL Today postgame show, Greg and Terry will get you updated on all the scores, highlights, and the latest information around the league.
Dick, I would think that among the happiest of the Eagles would be the offensive linemen. They really took the rap last week. Everything in the world thrown at them. This is the man who was kind of in the spotlight today. Ron Heller, back off the bench, starting at left tackle, has done an excellent job of protecting McMahon here today. They've kind of put themselves back in the positive spotlight.
On 2nd and 16, Kelvin Martin with a good run, and after the catch, a gain of 24 yards. Ben Smith making the stop to the 40-yard line of the Eagles.
Well, you can cut the tape off at this point in the ball game. Keith Byers getting some of that protection for that thumb on those huge hands. Boy, he does have big hands. Keith Jackson. They've earned a rest, earned an opportunity to smile on that sideline. Dallas moving the ball a bit here, but the Eagles content to look at the scoreboard and say, we'll give you a few yards. We'll trade it for time. Winding down to the 2-minute clock.
That was Emmitt Smith with an 8-yard carry. Our 2-minute warning here, and we'll return to Texas Stadium in a moment. Merlin?
Well, on a day that Troy Aikman would like to forget, one of the smart things he did was to wear a linebacker's chin strap. Padded on the outside with hard plastic. And Dick, if you put that on your chin, you can take a couple of pops to the chin and see why Aikman has not split that chin open any more than he has today. But boy, he needed that today.
Why don't you pick on someone your own size?
Oh, those were easy taps. Those were a lot easier than the taps Aikman has taken out there today. I can tell you that.
Good thing he's tough to begin with. Those are the numbers. McMahon, 2 touchdowns, no sacks, 207 yards. Aikman sacked 11 times. 2nd down and 2 on the Eagles 32-yard line, and the pass up the middle, jump ball, and it's caught by Novacek. And a 1st down for the Cowboys on the Eagle 21, and covering was Andre Waters.
In this new Cowboy offensive scheme, it's a timing philosophy. Aikman dropping 3 or 5, stepping up and firing the ball. Receivers must get to that point. Well, they have not been in the flow and in timing today.
Another pass. Now they're in a little bit of a flow there. Kelvin Martin with Isel Jenkins on his back. They get inside the 15-yard line, about 2 yards shy of a 1st down. Don't forget, we'll have the latest scores of many games coming down to the wire and highlights with Greg and Terry on the NFL Today post-game show coming up. There's a fade pattern and incomplete. The pass was intended for Alexander Wright, and covering was Ben Smith.
Smith doing a great job of going up and working through those hands. I tell you what's going on in Philadelphia in Philadelphia's defensive mind right now. They want to protect their shutout. They would love to put that 0 on the board. Watch number 26, Ben Smith, timing his jump, the hand right up into the ball and between the arms of Alexander Wright. There's a happy man. Bud Carson recently moved over here.
Ben Smith was burned last week by the Cardinals. He made a good play. Aikman flips it out to Highsmith, or Tommy Agee, that is. Tommy Agee with his first play from scrimmage, and Cowboys want a timeout. They have all 3 of theirs left, and they call a timeout with 54 seconds remaining. Well, let's take a look ahead now. With the Eagles winning on the road today, their upcoming schedule, they have the Steelers next week at Veterans Stadium. Tough one against the Redskins. Then Tampa Bay and New Orleans. This is, I think, arguably the toughest division in the NFL is the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys look like this.
They're looking forward to next week. And this week will be one of the slowest they've ever had. Phoenix, and then the Giants. They've got to go into New York. And, oh, they're here against the Giants. Green Bay, Cincinnati.
Last time the Cowboys were shut out was in December of the '89 season against the Giants. How do you think Phoenix will feel next week? 2 teams that have to be really licking their wounds coming into next week's game.
Frustration bowl if there was one.
1st and goal for the Cowboys on the 8-yard line. And there goes another fade pattern to right, and the pass nearly intercepted by Eric Allen. He had a chance to pick it off. Well, we're going to thank some people at this point in the waning moments of our game. Today's game was produced by Michael Burks and directed by Andy J. Kindle. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. The senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin, and the executive producer is Ted Shaker. Scores and highlights coming up at the end of our game. 2nd down. Aikman's pass off of Novacek, or Agee again. Deflected away, and that will bring up 3rd down.
Pass intended for number 34, Tommy Agee.
Well, if you're Jimmy Johnson, you've got to be digging back in your coaching memory and saying, how did I deal with my teams? And Johnson's been lucky. He's won wherever he's been, but he's still lost some tough games, and he's still been embarrassed a few times. But I doubt if he's ever had a game that went as much against the feelings that he had. He seemed to be a very confident coach when we talked to him yesterday. Feeling good about where his team was, Dick.
But you know, the Cowboys don't expect to play a game like this after what they've gained last year or so.
Well, the nicest thing about a game like this, it's one game. It's one game, and you can put it behind you. In the NFL, you live a 7-day life cycle, and as bad as the Cowboys have been today, they have a chance to go out next week with a clean slate.
Cowboys call a timeout. Next Sunday at 12:30 Eastern. It's an NFL doubleheader on CBS. The Redskins and the Bengals. At Cincinnati, the Vikings go down to Bayou Country to face the New Orleans Saints. At this point, they're undefeated. And the second game of our NFL doubleheader, the Rams and the 49ers at Candlestick Park. San Francisco losing for the second time today. So, you know, they'll come out hungry against the LA Rams. And it all begins with the NFL Today, the last word before kickoff.
Well, yesterday we talked to Jimmy Johnson. He said they felt like over the years against Philadelphia, they felt like the skinny kid on the beach. They had the sand kicked in his face.
I know what you're talking
about. Took the Charles Atlas course.
Yeah, I've had that.
And he said, now, kick some sand in my face now. Well, the Eagles did it. The Eagles did it today.
I never liked it.
They probably felt the same way it did before, too.
Pass is tipped. Michael Irvin, the intended receiver, and it'll be 4th down. We mentioned that the last time the Cowboys were shut out against the Giants in '89, the last time they were blanked at home was on November 23rd that same year against the Philadelphia Eagles.
And here comes Reggie White off the field. Maybe an opportunity for the Minister of Defense to take a bow.
I'm sorry.
Giants just missed a field goal, so the Bears with a 3-point lead, trying to hang on with 10 seconds to go, and all they've got to do is run out the clock, presumably. 41 seconds remaining, 4th and goal at the 8. Last shot for the Cowboys to get some points. And Aikman's pass is knocked away by Ben Smith, who comes up limping a bit.
Alvin Harper, the intended receiver, the #1 pick out of Tennessee. No match on the corner for Ben Smith.
So the Eagles will take over on downs. And Philadelphia 2-1 on the year, Dallas 1-2, and for the Eagles it'll be their 8th consecutive victory against the Dallas Cowboys. 11 quarterback sacks and 3 interceptions, and an awesome display of defensive football.
Pat Ryan onto the field to take his first snap in a very long time. Quarterback who laid out all of last year said he sat by the phone until the middle of October and then decided it was all over.
12-year veteran, former Jet. The Bears defeated the Giants, who lost for the second time. And Cowboys and the Eagles will meet again in the second to last game of the season.
On the Eagles turf that time. I guess the thing that would embarrass you even more than the score and the way this game was played, if you're a Cowboy, is that you played it at home.
Philadelphia defense, simply the story. Fred Barnett caught a touchdown pass. Robert Drummond had a score, and so did Keith Byers. As the seconds tick off. And that'll do it.
If you're Jimmy Johnson, head for the wall.
So for Merlin, Olsen, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from Texas Stadium. 24-0 the final. Stay tuned for the NFL Today postgame show as Greg and Terry will update you on all the scores and highlights. You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. Happy birthday, Merlin.